guys, welcome back to Chicken Noodle Code. We're going to continue with our spaceship in the browser, as you can see here, and we're going to make it fly, implementing the Tweening library from GSAP.com. So let's check it out. I'm going to also open VS Code to show where we were last time. So we kind of implemented the Three.js stage. So we have our Three.js import map here that is loading the latest or somewhat recent version of Three.js, but then also we have our actual app.js at the bottom. It actually loads as a module. This way we have support for other module imports, as you can see up here, and yeah, it's working nicely. First thing you would want to do is go to get GSAP, so that's the button here. Going to go straight to the CDN import. So we're going to load this from the online content delivery network, and that's the link, without any of these plugins. All right, so that's not necessary. I'm going to say copy. I'll head over to my VS Code. So this will be in the index.html. In the head section, let's put that here under the style tag. Now we go to app.js, and there's a few things that we have to kind of change in this, as it doesn't actually support the animation frame. So we have to change from the still render function to the animation function. So that'll be the next thing. Instead of sending it directly to render, we'll deactivate this and we'll put the function called animate. Animate. And this will be a function here. That is going to say window request animation frame, and inside goes the animate function itself. This will be repeatedly calling the render function out of here. So render brackets, and actually we don't have to attach this to the window. We can just say request animation frame like that, and then animate, and it's going to repeatedly call the render function. So, and you can see here, so the function animate will be called from within itself with the request animation frame method, and then also at the same time we're rendering each frame. So that's what this thing will do. This will allow us to actually implementing the Tweening library. Otherwise, stuff will only move as far as one frame, and then we'd be stuck, right? So we want to continuously update as we are moving things around in the three-dimensional space. Okay, so now we got this done. Let's actually see if this works. Go back to here in Firefox. And yeah, nothing's broken. I can reload here just to double check. And yeah, so the next part, the GSAP thing is implemented. The one thing that we don't really have to do is the DOM content loaded, because we are also doing this out of the context of Three.js. So this is already kind of taking care of this, and we should be able to use it from within our module script that we're using. Hoping that is enough time for the DOM to be already loaded, so the JavaScript is ready to detect any kind of object inside the canvas. I'm going to go ahead with the Tween Max. So this is old school code, but it's still working from the current standpoint. bit. Let's say y13. So this ship is hovering quite nicely up and down, giving you the sense of this is an actual moving object. And that is all before implementing the navigation for the arrow keys that we can press. We could also have virtual buttons if I think about mobile, because we need to think about touchscreen events as well. So ideally we would do window, add event listener. So we're going to put the key press key down. There we go. Comma, event. All right, inside. So this is calling the arrow function. We have now inside a if clause. I'm just going to use this one where we say event dot key equals, and that goes in quotes, arrow left if that makes any sense. Now we kind of have to put coordinates of the ship. So let's say let ship x be at 0 currently. I'm going to also do this for ship y. So we have an x and a y coordinate. Ship y be 0. We might need a rotation as well. I'm not sure if and how I'm going to apply that yet. So ship, but we'll see. Rotation equals 0 degrees. Yeah, so now I can console log something just to see if it's actually working. Console.log. We can put now here left, and I'll duplicate these guys. Actually, I should do multi-line editing. Let's see if I can get this done. Alt click. I'm going to hit tab and I'm going to paste in the console log statement here. Now I can say console log right. That's just text that's being posted to the console, and so I know which key I'm actually pressing. And we can also maybe update that with the coordinates of the ship as soon as we move it around. So this is going to say up and down. Save. So now all of this should hopefully work without any error. So let's check that. Reload. I'm going to do inspect. And this is now Firefox, but in any console this should basically work. If I'm like pushing down, now it says down. I can also push up, it says up. I can push right, it says right, and left, it says left. Awesome. So now we just have to move this ship as I'm pressing these. And that is super easy. We kind of have already the variables in place. We have to now increase, let's say ship X plus equals, let's increment this by 5. For right, actually we should do minus here to move it left, and plus 5 to the right, up and down. So this means basically not up and down, it means like back and forth. Oops. I mean, if we press up, it should move forward. So this should be now ship Y. And it's possible that these guys are flipped, actually, the X and the Y. So I have to see what's up with that. And then I'm just trying to put this how I understand it in my own three-dimensional thinking here. So this is ship y as well, minus for down, so it should go backwards. So it's possible that stuff is doing the opposite of what it's supposed to, but we can kind of see that. We have to say now GSAP dot to if you want to. And I'm going back to here. Type error, can't access position, GLTF is undefined. So this is a common problem, and I think I have to go even further, binding the GLTF to the window, and that sucks a little bit. So instead of doing this, I'll just say window dot ship, and we'll just attach the ship to the GLTF to the ship variable. First, it's a empty object. This might not be the best way to define the variable here, but this is my small little workaround. Window ship has to be assigned with the actual GLTF here. Equals GLTF. So now the question is, could I just do the GLTF scene like that, and then here instead for the, I guess we'll see it right there if I'm going to use now window ship instead, window dot ship dot position. So this should already work, and it is. And we're going to put this in our tweening function down here as well. So instead of GLTF position, it has to be window ship position. All right. Reload. There you go. I see. It's doing something, but something seems flipped here, and it's very slow. I can move it, inch it forward a little bit, but it should be much faster, and that has to do with how much we are moving it. So let's increase this factor by 10, and then it's going to be way more extreme, maybe too extreme. So if I press now left, it goes forward. If I press no, it goes backwards. Yeah, so it's like not really ideal. So the keys are flipped, it seems, and then up and down does actually up and down instead of back and forth. So I think we have to swap the ship Y with the Z axis. Let's try that. Yeah, and then this is now up goes sideways, and yeah, and so on and so forth. So something seems off here. Is it ship X, ship Y? It's all wrong. So maybe if I flip these two guys, ship Y and ship X, that would fix it. Yeah, so now it's going forward and it's going sideways. Okay. Weird. Oh, it would be cool to actually have some sound. Like in my original demo here. Pixabay.com, sound effects, Spaceship engine, there we go. We need something short though, it needs to be a very short sound. So this is 6 seconds maybe. Oh. This one's awesome. Okay, I'm going to download that one. Okay, so let's give it a little bit of sound. So each time I'm pressing this, I kind of want to also have this use or play the spaceship sound. So you would want to copy your sound files into VS Code. So I'm going to do a new folder, call it sounds. In sounds, I will drag in the sound files. Try this again. There. So now we have the MP3 files here. And the other one, I guess the second one is a little too extreme, and some of them are too long, which we can cut down. Oh yeah, the ship rotation currently is not doing anything, so we can comment that out. But we need to have a buzzing sound, so I'm going to say let buzz be new audio. Inside the audio, we're going to select the actual audio source sounds / Now we don't get autocomplete here, I don't think, so we have to kind of type this file name. I'm gonna hit F2 just to get into rename mode, and then select all, Control A, Control C to copy the title, escape to undo the rename. I could also rename it just Buzz, but yeah, if we keep this original file name, and I have to paste it on like it is, and then each time I'm moving this, now I'm able to say buzz.play inside the function. Let's put that below our tweening, and this we're calling buzz play and this should do exactly. So it kind of works, but there's also a small there was a small delay. Also, we need to kind of reset the buzz. This is the audio object now. We have access to current time. Current time equals 0. So each time I press the button, I want this to reset, but also to pause it first before we play it, because the issue is if it's already playing and I press the button too soon, the sounds will overlap, or it won't actually, like it will bubble. And in that case, I want to also pause. All right, so this is pretty good. Back and forth. For the audio, we could not also change the volumes, so we say buzz dot volume equals 0.3, so it's not too loud. But in any case, what has to happen is the first initial click onto the stage, otherwise you don't even hear a sound. That's where we get an error. If I try to now press one of the arrow keys, it's actually going to tell me autoplay is not allowed. The play method is not allowed as there was no current interaction, so denied permission. I have to click first, and then it's actually letting me do that. Now nicely with the faded volume, could say set time out function. If you don't like this kind of function, we could change it for a arrow function. We're gonna say buzz pause at comma 1 second. Oh, I have to click. It's a little better. Each time we press the arrow keys, the sound will be limited to 1 second. That's what the 1000 stands for in milliseconds, and therefore it will pause the sound after the timeout, and yeah, it's a common thing. So you see for the audio, we have now these additional settings. So that's kind of important to be able to control your audio, also the volume especially, because you don't want stuff to be too loud or, like I said, too long. Of course, I could now take these MP3s and edit them in audio editing software to make them, to trim them and stuff like that, or to change the volume. I know that, but sometimes, like for, let's say, the sake of being fast in terms of developing prototypes and stuff like that, I just I'll use JavaScript to do that. And yeah, what else can we talk about? We had the same thing here for the hover of the ship. There is the duration that I'm going to use as the second position in the from to function, which automatically goes towards the duration. So this is the old syntax, and again, you could put now the duration instead inside the list of items here by just saying duration. Oops, and we don't have an autocomplete for that. Just saying 2, and you get the same thing. If you say duration 0.2, let's see if that actually works for the yo-yo effect. Yep, that works nicely. So that's the difference between the two. Well, the syntax, the new documentation kind of shows that people put the duration here within the actual tweening. In addition, you can assign the entire tween to a variable, which gives you access to pause, seek, progress, and play, which I haven't done, but it's not really necessary in my case, which is why I didn't do that. And yeah, overall, I'm happy with the result. Just to have a small little floating spaceship. And I'm looking forward to adding more things, like let's say shooting lasers. We need some background music. Maybe we'll implement some kind of environment instead of just having it float in space like that. Oh, I forgot to mention, actually, I'm going to put this in a repository on GitHub. So let's do that, and you should be able to play with that yourself. Let's do a new repository. There's not much going on here. And I'll say new. This will be called Spaceship dash new is available. Description is optional. It's public. No template. We do add a README. This doesn't matter. License doesn't matter for now. Jumpstart. No. We'll just create the repository. Boom. The spaceship with its textures under the models folder and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'll do that from the command line, which means I'm going to check out this repository from here. We'll say HTTPS. This is the repository that I can clone using the command line. No. Terminal. So this would be CD. Documents, open, workspace, open source. Now I'm going to say git clone, and I paste in the URL, and it's going to clone, and it's going to, yeah, it cloned it into Spaceship New. Awesome. And now I'm going to CD into the Spaceship New folder. I can do an LL here, a list. So it got only the README. And I'm going to add all the files from the current project into that, which means in VS Code. So that's like, I could have done it from within here and then just commit it directly, but usually I'd like to have a copy of my my actual workspace, so I can work on things without having to already commit or having things marked as changes, because it, you know, distracts me sometimes. So I'm going to put the, say here, open containing folder. There we go. Control A, I don't need the info MD, Control C, and this will be added to open source Spaceship new, and paste back to the command line. So here I have all my stuff, and we can say git. Actually, we have to say nano dot git slash config, because the link in here is not right. We have to change this to git at. This is something that, of course, most people do this differently. At github.com, and then I think it's colon, so I have to look this up on GitHub. If I click here, the SSH code, github.com, yeah, so colon, and then my username and spaceship new git. So that's basically what I have, I think. Otherwise it can't actually commit and push anything to the repository, so that's important to edit the config file. That's in the hidden folder called .git, and I can save this now, which is Control X to X out of this, and I will say yes, that is a Y on the keyboard to save to the same file name. Boom, and I'm back out of here. Now I can say git status, and it's able to show me the changes. I'm going to say git add everything, git commit, oops, we're going to attach a message to it, which has the flag M, adding scripts and 3D models. Oh, I guess I could say scripts, sounds, and 3D models. Okay. All right, these are all the changes. 7 files changed and 435 insertions. That's awesome. So now I can do another git status just to double check. And it says it's clean. I'm ahead of the origin main. So it is not called master. It used to be called master throughout. Some older repositories still use master, and I'm using main here. So now that changes the command a little bit. Git push origin main instead of master. I have to do my license password. Oops, which one was it? All right, so now this was successfully pushed to the repository, so you can see it. I will post the link below in the description box, so you can find all of the files that I was working on. So there's the index file. Let's check quickly. We have the JavaScript app.js file, which has most of the scripts. I should have cleaned up. I just realized that there's still some comments in here, but that's not a biggie. The important part is basically all the key press logic, loading the 3D model. The model itself isn't here. That's the bin file and the GLTF file. Yay! And the texture. And the sounds. Which I can't even play inside of GitHub. That's interesting. I guess I have to press click raw. Oh, it just downloads the MP3. I see. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.
Chicken noodle code. Chicken noodle code. Chicken noodle code. Chicken noodle code. Chicken noodle code.